21. And just for context, there was only 21 in the extra time game earlier today in the Euros.
Wow.
Pretty much double the amount, and there was 30 minutes less played.
Wasn't the Peru
The Peru-Chile one was
37.
37. So
Oh.
this was worse than Peru-Chile, and that game was a straight-out brawl.
Yeah.
So, and that's ultimately what this game was. I mean, but we'll get to the conclusions later, but this game was just foul after foul after foul. Uruguay's entire 11 should have been yellow carded, but this was the same narrative that happened against the United States, and that's the thing, though. When you play Uruguay, this is what you sign up for. You sign up for a very physical duel. And if the referee's not going to call anything, if you're Uruguayan, well, you're going to keep hitting. And I actually don't blame the tactics here. This is Bielsa ball at its finest. Get on your man, do not let him breathe, and get the ball back as quickly as possible. That's what happened in this game, and for 70 minutes before the red card, honestly, this game was completely dictated by Uruguay. All Brazil was doing was reacting to everything.
Yeah, no, reacting.
That's it.
Yeah.
The only chances Brazil was able to craft in this game was off of pure mistakes from Uruguay. That's it. And I think that only happened twice. Other than that, Uruguay did not give Brazil an inch.
Well, let's just cut right straight into it. Are they going to be able to implement the same style against Colombia?
I'm going to say yes.
You think so?
Yes.
You think so? I wonder, because Colombia, out of the USA, out of Panama, out of Brazil, the teams that Uruguay has faced so far, they definitely pose the most offensive threat.
Yeah.
So I wonder how the battle of styles will be in that matchup, because you're right, dude. Every Uruguay game has been like this. And if they're not trashing you and beating you up by halftime, then they're going to find a way to make it really chippy and just string the game out. It was so physical, bro. It was so physical. And ultimately, I agree. They were just playing this into Uruguay's hands the entire time, because Brazil did not get comfortable. They let their emotions get to them, and we saw just so many rash decisions being made. But it's still crazy, because ultimately it was Uruguay who ended up getting the red card in this match with Nandes with the really dirty tackle.
Dirty. Straight on the ankle.
Yeah,
No questions about it. It was definitely a red. He, for some reason, didn't think it was, but yeah, it was a clear red. But that's the thing, and I like that you asked that question, because I think that game against Colombia is going to be really, really fun, but this is going to be more of a test for Colombia than it is going to be for Uruguay.
I agree. Because the indication we have Colombia, and we'll get to it, is really, really positive. It's really, really positive.
Really positive.
And they haven't had really a true challenge yet in this tournament that has forced them to change their style of play. Is Uruguay the team that finally does that? Let me know in the chat, guys. We're going to be talking about it soon. But right now, let's talk about Brazil. Brazil losing out in this penalty shootout with Militao being the first player to shoot in this penalty shootout. What did you guys think about that? Militao, the first man up for Brazil, and he misses. And so from the get-go, you're already up against the run. And it just ended up, getting into the heads of the Brazilians, because after that, it was another miss from Douglas Luiz.
With the weirdest run-up, man. I mean, he had a stare down with Rochet. Didn't work, hits the post, and ultimately that's the miss that sends Brazil out of this tournament. But, I mean, this is just kind of a really poor tournament for Brazil, honestly. Like, sure, they were able to, handle Paraguay. They drew Costa Rica. They couldn't beat Colombia. But I think overall, Brazil showed just the type of team that they are right now. They are struggling for identity. Offensively, there's no chemistry up top. Defensively, they're good. You have Marquinhos, you have Militao, you have Alisson, who are fantastic. But midfield, offensively, there's nothing there right now for Brazil.
Does Vinny make a difference, though, if he's here?
Oh, he definitely. No, definitely makes a difference, because he's one of the best dribble penetrators.
Fuck, dude.
So we said it before.
No,
the match.
Manches, I can't.
Not
can't
having
move it.
Vinicius, for me, made this game immediately Uruguay's. I think if Vinicius is on the pitch, there's a chance Brazil score in regulation.
Yeah, and then you had Endrick getting the start in this game, and ultimately not having the impactful game that I think many people were hoping to see from him. But that goes for most Brazilian players. I just don't think they were able to play their style of football, whatever that style is. And I'm disappointed. I guess I'm disappointed at the end of the day, because there was just a shimmer of hope I had for this Brazilian team, because yes, in World Cup qualifying, they're not playing great. And even in international friendlies, they weren't playing that great either. But I just figured that the stage, that the knockout setting might play into Brazil, maybe surprising people and going back to their old ways of dominating and playing well against teams in the Americas.
Yeah.
I thought that would happen, bro. But we got our answer, bro. this Brazilian team is the worst team we've ever seen. Like, truly, in our lifetime. I'm 28 years old, so I don't know about how they were before that, but in my lifetime, almost 30 years of life, this is easily the worst Brazil team I've ever seen because they're actually struggling in World Cup qualifying and now at the Copa America, not even making it to the semifinals. We got a super chat. Canada has made it farther, bro.
Canada
made it farther than Brazil in this tournament, bro. Shout out to them. But dude, it really represents just how far the drop-off has been for Brazil. And yeah, sure, if Vinny's in this game, I'm sure he makes a difference. But at the end of the day, the fact that you're relying on one guy to be that sole man for you, whereas Brazil has always been known for having so much talent all spread out, I think it's just a crazy indication of how far Brazil has fallen off.
And it's kind of scary if you are a Brazil fan because you're mid-table right now in World Cup qualification. I see this form continuing. I don't see this getting fixed anytime soon. So unless you're playing against Peru and Bolivia next, like, you might not be able to get a win, you know, in the next couple of World Cup qualification games. So honestly, Brazil's going to be must-watch television because of that.
It's a fun question. You know, I'm always thinking about reels. I'm always thinking about TikToks in my head, you know, and they call it clip farming. But I promise you, this isn't me doing that right now. Does Brazil make it to the World Cup?
They have to, bro. It's expanded, bro.
That should be crazy.
What is it? It's like 9 out of 10 South American teams get in now. You know, it's something stupid,
crazy,
right?
bro.
So if you're South American, you're basically in unless your name's Bolivia.
That's true, bro. In the old format,
the old format would be interesting.
I wonder what would have happened. I bet it gets tight. I bet it gets exciting, but nah, I have them getting through. I have them getting through, but still, they disappoint in this tournament. Uruguay ends up being the better team, getting the result here and moving forward to the face-off against Colombia. Is there really anything else to remark in this match before I go over to Colombia versus Panama? Because, like we mentioned, bro, it's pretty straightforward. 90 minutes of just physical play, fouls, and then a penalty shootout.
No, I mean, I guess I do want to double praise Uruguay, though, because for as physical as they are and it, you know, completely douses their opponent's offense, it works. We targeted Uruguay as probably the best team going into the tournament playing football, right? Colombia had the best run, but Uruguay was probably playing the best football out of all the teams in the Copa America before the tournament. And by qualifying to the semifinals, I think they've proven that. And we'll get to that, I think, at the end of this, but that Colombia game, I don't think is going to be easy for Colombia at all.
No, not whatsoever. I think the last thing I want to touch on for Brazil is Dorito Jr. Dorival Jr.
Yeah,
does he stay on, bro? What's next for the head coaching position? Because, I mean, this is terrible form that we're seeing from Brazil. Someone's going to have to be up to blame. I wonder if Brazil will look at the coach and once again switch him out after, you know, just now bringing him in within, like, the last year, dude. Yeah. Like, are they really going to go through another coaching search process once again, or are they going to stay stubborn with Dorival Jr. and just trust him to see the process out?
Thank God.
This is an interesting one.
Yeah, this is really interesting, but I say they got to get rid of him just because this felt like a test for Dorival, right? The test for the prior coach, Fernando Diniz, they gave him World Cup qualifiers. He failed. They finished mid-table after 6 games. Now they give Dorival a chance. The test was Copa America. He couldn't get out of the quarterfinals. It was a bad group stage. He failed. So I think what Brazil's history shows is it's next man up. I don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be another Brazilian coach most likely, but it's just going to be basically a coin toss as to whether he's successful or not.
Low-key, it should be Dino.
I mean, hey, you got a prediction, right?
Low-key, bro, it should be Dino, man. That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Be
After
cool.
everything he said about the team, he's like, you know what? I'll fix it.
Yeah.
I'll fix it. Guys, let's move on over to Colombia versus Panama. Let me know what you thought about this game because this game was just as straightforward as the Brazil-Uruguay match because within 20, 30 minutes, this game was done, bro. This game was done. It was done. Yeah. Colombia ran the Panamanians. Colombia trashed the Panamanians. The Colombians destroyed the Panamanians, winning 5-0 with goals from Córdoba, James Rodriguez, Luis Diaz, Richard Rios, and Miguel Borja. James with 2 goals and 1 assist in the first half. The first player ever in Copa America history to have 3 goal contributions within 1 half of football at this tournament. And he now has 5 assists and 1 goal in this tournament. James motherfucking Rodriguez is going off. Colombia is going off. 27 games unbeaten, matching their record.
Motherfucker.
I believe. Colombia, their undefeated record. Matching it now, being 1 game away. If they defeat Uruguay, they break their own personal record of undefeated games. Colombia.
Cooked, man, and I don't even know if there's anything more to say that we haven't said about Colombia because this game was so straightforward. There's really nothing to analyze other than Colombia have continued their insane run of form. They're just relentless offensively. They look possessed. Luis Diaz is one of the better wingers at this tournament, and as you already put, let's put it even into more specific words, James Rodriguez is the MVP of the tournament so far. And he was 10 years ago at the World Cup, and here he is doing it once again. It's kind of crazy, his efficiency on the output end of things. It's ridiculous. The fact that he's scoring and assisting in every single game multiple times, it's ridiculous, man. But this Colombia team is so much more than just James. All you have to do is just watch every single game that they played over the last 20 games, and you'll see why. This Colombia team is incredible. But for Panama, all I want to say is one thing here is I hope or I wish that they could somehow put their defense through like a defense boot camp. That's it, man, because offensively, they're actually very creative. They're very adventurous. And they actually stretched Colombia several times after going down 2-0. And they got very close with a header that ended up, going across the goal. Vargas was able to, get it out. But Panama's offense there's no problem with it whatsoever. But their backline is just so mistake prone that you get a result like this, 5-0. You get a result like Uruguay where just all of a sudden they can't contain their opponent and they let 2, 3, 4 goals in. No. It's very frustrating because if they just fix that defensive line, they're the second best team in CONCACAF. They're better than Mexico, they're better than Canada, and they'd be right underneath the United States. It is kind of crazy how close they are, but the thing is, defense wins titles, right? Defense wins big, big matches. If you don't have a good defense, it doesn't matter how good your offense is. So for Panama, this is a really interesting time because they have proven, they made history by going to the quarterfinals here in this knockout stage or the Copa America, but going forward, they at least know where their weak points are, and I'm wondering if they're going to fix it. I don't know. Either way, this is good rehearsal for them for the World Cup qualifiers to come.
It's a tough thing to fix, bro. It's a tough thing to fix. They do have a leaky defense because South America exposed that, dude, with Uruguay getting 3 on them in that first game, Colombia now getting 5, and even the fact they conceded to the U.S. when they were up a man, bro. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Panama, that's definitely their weakest point. I don't know if it gets better, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if it gets better. Thing is, I do think they're good enough to be able to qualify into the 2026 FIFA World Cup without USA, Canada, or Mexico being involved. They're good enough for that. True. I think they're good enough for that, so that's the exciting part. But I wonder how they're going to acknowledge that for the next 2 years because it's definitely their biggest thing to work on right now. For Colombia, I just posed the question up top because it got me thinking, man. 27 games unbeaten. How does this Colombian team compare to the 2014 Colombia that the world fell in love with? Because that Colombia went off at the World Cup where there's much more competition, more confederations going at it. Whereas here you just have the Copa America and World Cup qualification to go off of. But this run that they're on, the way that they're playing, and like you mentioned, not just James Rodriguez going off, but the rest of the team that he has around him, I might think they might be better, bro.
I'm with you. I've never thought about the comparison. This is a really fun one. I'm curious to see what the people say, but I'm going 2024.
Yeah.
The team all around is just so balanced. There's attack from all sides. But I think what more so gets me about liking this Colombia side than 10 years ago is the defensive work. Box to box, Richard Rios, I've already gone off on him. He's incredible. But right back Munoz, dude, he's a brick wall. And he can get forward and supply really good crosses into the box. I don't think Colombia's ever had this type of blend of players where they're very physical, very fast, and technical. Usually it's like 1 or 2 of the attributes, but pretty much all of the 11 has all of the 3 key attributes you would want your players to have.
I think what 2014 was better at was dancing. I think vibes, dude. The
vibes, the flair. They had more flair for sure.
Yes, absolutely. But looking at the technicality, the ability on the ball, and the fact that James Rodriguez specifically is still playing so well with Luis Diaz as an addition up top as a winger, I think this version is better, man.
Yeah.
I think if they can solidify it, because I was thinking about this too, like we were talking about that being a really good generation of Colombians, but they weren't able to get a victory, a medal, a trophy to really represent that. Imagine this generation does it, bro. Yeah. 10 years after, with James Rodriguez still playing the same role. This story is crazy. I get what Colombians are going crazy right now because every reel we post about Colombia, every piece of content we post about Colombia, and just online, bro, on Twitter, on Instagram, Colombians are having a good summer.
It's special.
They're having a good summer, and I truly get why, dude, because this run that they're on is something special. The question is it going to be good enough to defeat Uruguay? We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
I want to set that up, but let me look at some super chats here from the Give and Go folks. We have Nicolas Walteros saying, I'm Colombian. My wife's in Panama. I'm on the couch tonight, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I bet people in Panama are drinking the fuck up to forget this game, dude, completely. So celebrate your victory, my friend. Celebrate it. Vanguard Gogeta says, amazing channel to watch. Also, when's the hair transplant? It needs to be this month. If not, go bald to have a reason to go get a hair transplant.
That'd be the only way.
God damn.
You're gonna have to go
dude.
bald, bro.
I'd have to go bald, dude. I already mentioned, within the next 5 years, I'm gonna go get it done because right now my hair's beautiful, folks. I love my hair. There's nothing to do here. And a hair transplant means that I get more hair. It doesn't mean that I go bald. So I'm gonna wait until I start receding much more, and then I'm hitting Turkey up because I definitely have some connections there now. And you guys must be subscribed to the channel to keep up with the journey because one day it will be completed. David Cerda says, just like Dino said, Brazil are overrated. Dude, Dino legit spoke facts. He spoke facts, and I can't believe it came to fruition. Danny Duron says, fuck Araujo for life. Beefing with the kid, crazy karma, got him. I mean, bro, it's true, bro. He bumped the shit out of him.
He got him. Yeah, he got him. And then, moments later, he's just down with a massive cramp. Missing Araujo, though, is going to be pretty big for Uruguay. I'm sure he's not going to be healthy.
You think he's out? Yeah,
I think he's out.
Oh, that's a big miss.
It's a big miss.
It's one of the best center backs in the world, for being honest. He has been so good for Uruguay, and yeah, he looked pretty hurt. He looked pretty hurt. Yeah. I'm not sure about this whole karma thing since it's an injury. All right, I'm gonna stay off that. I'm gonna stay off that train, but for sure, he was getting physical with Hendrik. OG Queen says, never thought Canada would go further than Brazil. I mentioned this earlier. It's insane. It is insane. What a time to live in right now. Canada, now the sole representative of CONCACAF in this tournament. Yeah. And shout out to them, bro.
And I want to just give a quick shout out to my favorite Canadian player of all time, Jacob Schaffelberg, scored yesterday. And hopefully we'll get on the scoreboard the next game against Argentina.
Get him on the pod?
I'd love to.
What would you ask him?
Oh, so many things. We'll do a piece on him later.
Michael Vox says, Seguimos bailando. Viva Colombia. Give James player of the tournament already. We now await Uruguay y Soltero. We are ready for the R9 cut. People want that haircut, bro.
That R9 cut.
People want that haircut. Man. We got a lot of work to do.
We got a lot of work to do.
Guys, let's do semifinal predictions. Because we have Colombia set to face off against Uruguay and Argentina set to face off against Canada. Let's start with Argentina. Argentina facing off against the Canadian side that we just mentioned is the only CONCACAF representative after they defeated Venezuela in penalties, and Argentina, who had to go to penalties as well to get through to this stage. Who do you guys have winning? Argentina or Canada in the semifinal match? Is Canada good enough? Are they in good enough form? Are they confident enough? And is Jesse Marsch genius enough of a coach to get a victory over Argentina, bro?
Look, I'm going to be rooting for Canada. Do not get me wrong. And the thing is, I think they will play better than they did in the opener against Argentina that started this whole tournament. Their offense is so creative. Their pace is electric. But you have to consider the weak points of Canada. They still cannot finish. And I don't think that's going to get fixed against Argentina's elite defense. And Canada's very mistake-prone at the back. Very mistake-prone. They're kind of like Panama, just not as bad. There are moments when the center backs just have lapses in concentration and either lose a runner or they commit too many guys to one side, and then that's when really good teams expose Canada's defense. I think the same things are going to happen here against Argentina. And you look at Argentina themselves, well, they're still probably the best team in the international scene. And even though they haven't had a brilliant tournament, they've still pretty much dominated every single game. So you consider all of those factors, Argentina should be able to beat Canada.
That's where I'm at, too.
Yeah.
I think they should. I think if Canada pulls off this victory, it's going to be one of the greatest CONCACAF victories of all time. I think that's what's at stake right now for Canada. They have the chance of pulling off something truly incredible. They're one game away from a final, bro. One game away.
That is crazy.
And they showed that they could put up a good match against Argentina, especially with that first game that we saw for the entire Copa America where they faced off against them already. Yeah. That first half was really impressive from Canada. They kept it 0-0, and they had chances, bro. But you're right. I don't know if I can trust that finishing. I know that the Argentine defense is incredibly, incredibly good. I think there's a little bit of a chance, though. I really do, because it's 90 minutes. There's no extra time.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance for Canada to do something special. My pick is still going to go Argentina. But, man, like I mentioned, if Canada does it, like, I almost am with you. I want to see it happen because the story, the scenes would be ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous if Canada actually makes it to the final.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Messi here.
We're talking
We're talking about Messi, and I wonder if the Americas would allow Canada getting into a final over Argentina.
That would be,
you know, after the corruption we've seen with refereeing, I wonder if they'll let Canada even get there, bro.
And it's cool too because it's the most southern country in the Americas against the most northern country in the Americas. That's crazy that's the semifinal.
True, bro.
What is even crazy about Canada's run though, and I forgot to give them props when they beat Venezuela, is every single game for Canada is a clear road game. Every single one, like it is, like the Canadians. Unfortunately, I guess I don't know. Maybe they just can't get in the States or something. But there's just no fan base for Canada. There's zero fan base. I see maybe 10 Canadians every time, and the rest is 70,000 of their opponent. So it is crazy
That's true.
what Canada have to go through experience-wise in every single match at this Copa.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to do it at the MetLife Stadium where we saw Argentines just completely show out in numbers.
Oh my God!
So it's looking tough.
It's looking tough.
But let's believe, bro. Believe in your boy
I'm
Schaffelberg.
going to, bro.
You have
I'm
to.
going to be screaming it every time he touches the ball.
Let's see what happens, man.
I'm
Let's have it
excited.
0-0 at halftime. And then from there, let's see what happens. Chat has Argentina at 70%, Canada at 30%. I agree with you guys. I'm going to leave it right there. Let's move on to the next game, which is going to be a banger. It is going to be a banger. On Wednesday, we have Brazil. My fault. Hey. Got a little excited there. Uruguay going up against Colombia. This is a banger. This is a masterpiece of a matchup with both teams finally meeting up. Both of these teams have been picked as dark horses, potential contenders of this tournament, and we're actually getting that matchup because they lived up to it. That's what I love about it. Colombia has balled out their entire way to the semifinal, and Uruguay as well was able to take down Brazil, was able to take down USA, Panama, Bolivia. Their entire path has been so good too. They both lived up to their expectations. Now it's about who wants to get to a final. This one's going to be fun, bro.
This is going to be so fun. Beetle says Colombia's cooking, and they really are. But my argument is Uruguay's cooking as well. They're just doing it in a different manner. They're doing it the Bielsa way. I really love to somehow figure out a way to get the stat of how many times does Uruguay retrieve the ball, because their ball retrieval in the midfield is so good, and that's why I'm excited about this game, because I don't think Colombia have faced a team like Uruguay yet. Truly. Uruguay have such a good mentality in the midfield, and I do think they're going to really frustrate Colombia. Now, my question is, how does Colombia respond to a defense like this? I don't know, because I haven't seen it. This is going to be a banger of a match, because I think we're going to get a lot of questions answered.
Oh, yeah.
How good are Uruguay really? And then, is Colombia really the offensive juggernaut that they look to be? So many questions are going to be answered. This is going to be an absolute classic of a game. Now, if I had to pick one, this is where it gets crazy.
It's part of your job description.
I actually think Uruguay are going to pull it off. Maybe on penalties. I think another very, very tight match. If it goes to pens, I'll go Uruguay.
All right, bet. No, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I am, because I think it really is that even between both sides. I think these are the arguments for Colombia. They're on fire right now. Their football is a lot more fresh, much more easy on the eyes. They're kind of like Spain right now, the way Spain is dominating the Euros.
Yeah.
They're playing prettier, more pure style of football, which I think at the end should win. But Uruguay does play a very rugged game, as I see described in the chat. Very rugged, and they make it very tight and very difficult to break them. There is going to be no Araujo, which I think is a big factor in terms of their back line, because in comes Chema Jimenez, and you know Chema. You know him pretty well.
I know him very well.
Atleti, you know he's a little capable of more mistakes than I would say Araujo.
Yeah, he's not as
And
good.
you need your defenders to be 100% for Uruguay. And I think against this Colombia team, it's going to be the toughest test that Uruguay faces off against. So I think I'm going to go Colombia. I think they're going to make history here, winning 28 games in a row and going to the Copa America final. And then just also looking at like the fan perspective, I think more Colombians will show out. I think the atmosphere will be in Colombia's favor, which will be major for this matchup. And just in general, I think they're playing prettier football. I think they're capable of playing and matching up to the offensive level that Uruguay plays at, as well as defensively, because I don't want to underestimate Colombia's defense either. It's been incredible this tournament too. They just haven't faced as much of a test, in my opinion. So I'm going Colombia. Chas got Colombia at 68%. Uruguay at 32%. Luis Melo says, I'm putting my entire life savings on Colombia winning the entire World Cup America. Bro, chill. Bro, chill. Relax, my friend. Relax, dude.
The narrative of Colombia winning it all, though, is what I want.
Yeah.
I want that to happen. I just think Uruguay's defense has really showed out these last two matches. I'm including the USA game as well, because realistically, the USA had to match up physically, and they did. Uruguay shut them out. Brazil had to match up physically, and Uruguay shut them out. I think Uruguay have a knack of doing that. Colombia is going to be their toughest test, but I think Uruguay will be able to match up to them defensively.
Is this the most excited? I mean, I'm thinking about it. I think Spain, Germany was one of the most exciting games for me going into it.
Yeah.
This has to be like up there in the top 3 for the best games that we were going to see at this tournament so far.
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
man.
I'm so excited because the winner, I think, will have a very, very good chance to actually dethrone Argentina. I truly believe that. You know, at the Euros, a lot of people saying, oh, there's some teams that didn't deserve to be in the semifinals. Yeah. I truly think Uruguay and Colombia are playing the best football in the Americas outside of number 1 Argentina.
No, I completely agree. I completely agree. Ozzy Carr says, late W for the drinking. Cheers, my friend. Cheers. Vanguard Golgeta says, 5 years. Nah, actually, how about now? Live on stream. Let Saltero shave your head and you will book tickets on stream with proof for the Turkey trip. Good Lord, bro. I'm not doing that for a $5 super chat. God damn, I'm going to need $500 super chat, bro. Hit 44 says, how did the U.S. lose to this Panama team?
It hurts, man. It hurts.
Low key, bro.
It hurts.
Low key. Down a man for 65 minutes. FIFA Rick says Argentina versus Colombia final. The least corrupt cup are the Euros, Asian Cup, and African Cups. Has very questionable referees too. South America is the most. Wait. South America is the most physical group.
Yeah. I like this comment, by the way.
I'm trying to.
I think the least corrupt cup by far is the Euros. There's a lot of controversy refereeing wise at this Copa America, but honestly, at the AFC Asian Cup and African Nations Cup, there's a lot of controversy too. I just don't think it gets as much publicity as the Copa America. So I agree. Like, I completely agree with that statement. And South America, I want to do something at the end of these tournaments. I want to get the average fouls per game for all major tournaments, because I want to know, is that actually a true statement, or does it just seem like it's more physical? I wonder.
There's already a stat out where CONCACAF teams got called for more fouls, I believe, than South Americans.
Really?
I think I saw like a number of fouls called after like the group stage. The top 5 were the CONCACAF teams,
oh my God,
and then the rest were South American.
Good Lord,
something like that.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up on the pod so people know I'm not just making that shit up. We have one more super chat from Rahul Magar says, love from Nepal, guys. Nepal, that's nuts,
shout
dude.
out, Rahul.
I can't believe my face shouldn't be seen in Nepal, bro. I don't need to be over there, bro.
No, you do.
But that's crazy to me. That's so far away. I'm not even sure if I know where that is on the map. Love to Nepal, man. Love to Nepal. Thank you so much, my friend. So, guys, those are our semifinal predictions. So now, how I want to leave the show off is, give me your winner. Give me your winner. Who do you have winning the tournament as of this moment, now that we know the 4 semifinalists? Tell me why you think it's Canada, and give me the reasons, folks. Give me the reasons. Is it Jacob Schaffelberg? Is it Nathan Aimason, who says, I'm just happy that football is finally getting noticed in Canada? Rodrigo says Colombia. Adrian says Colombia. Javier says Uruguay. Maria del Mar Sanin, what a name, says Colombia. Rodrigo Rivera says, Reynoso, why are you picking Colombia now? Boom Chicken says Colombia. Argentina is winning it all. Crazy how much, it's crazy to me though how many shouts I'm seeing for teams not named Argentina. Not that they're wrong for that, but where we've come in this tournament, bro. Because before the tournament, everyone was picking Argentina, including us, dude.
Yeah,
everyone.
I think form speaks volumes.
Yeah,
truly. I mean, we already said it. Colombia and Uruguay are playing the better football, and Colombia have the best football on the eyes, but I just think Argentina have something that Colombia and Uruguay don't right now, and that's experience at the highest level, right? Actually getting to a World Cup final, feeling that pressure and overcoming it. Argentina can unlock that type of experience in a final.
That's what I like, though, is that now, maybe before a tournament, it might have not seemed like Argentina would have gotten a real challenge, but now they're going to have to, like, really work for this tournament.
Yeah,
like,
that is
it
fun.
adds more merit to the trophy, I think, because Colombia and Uruguay have been playing so well. Now we'll know if they have to face off against one of those teams in the final, like, they'll have to earn it, bro.
Yes.
I think that's a really cool, like, narrative that's happened so far with how well these teams have been playing. Trainer AQ says, I'm biased towards Colombia. Argentina are not playing at 2022 level. I agree with that. Canada looks pretty good, but Uruguay is tough in the real final. Colombia can do it. I love seeing the
I love it.
Colombians.
I love it,
seeing the
man.
Colombians,
I love
the belief they have. But then there's people like Adrian B who says Colombia's ego is so high. There you go.
It
Yeah,
is.
they're feeling
It is.
themselves.
But it should be high.
Should be
It
high.
should be really high.
Should be high. They haven't lost, bro.
Yeah.
They haven't lost. Anthony V says, I'm going to be there for the Argentina versus Canada match. It's about to be straight fire. I see Colombia and Uruguay fighting till the very last second.
Hell
that
yeah.
match is actually going to be at the Bank of America Stadium. Where's that stadium at?
Bank of America.
Bank of America Stadium.
Actually,
It's not telling me where. Chat, let me know. Where's the Bank of America Stadium? And don't look it up. I want to see who knows.
Oh, it's in Charlotte.
Ow!
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, they were saying that about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Damn it, that would have been fun. That would have been fun. Trainer gave us the answer. Thank you, my friend. Nick Boy says Argentina is going to win and the haters will cry rigged. It's crazy, but that's true. That's true, bro. That's true. No matter how Argentina wins it, that's always gonna happen.
I just wish Argentina, just had a tougher group. That's it. That's it. And I'm not saying that's rigged. I'm just saying I wish they had a tougher group. That's it.
At the end of the day, though, outside of Canada, I mean, all the other teams top their groups as well. You know, Uruguay top theirs, Colombia top theirs. I think the group stage is pretty straightforward for all semifinalist teams outside of Canada, because Canada's done incredible. But yeah, I mean, we're getting the test now. We're getting the answers that we have to these teams, and I'm just so excited, bro, because these games have been hitting. Maybe not that Brazil-Uruguay match, but other matches have been so fun to watch so far in the Euros and in the Copa America. So, folks, thank you so much for joining. If you're Colombian, send me one more Colombian flag and the emoji. If you're Uruguayan, give me a reason for why you think Uruguay is winning this tournament as we check out. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We will be back in a couple days. We got a couple days off. Couple days off. We'll be back to cover the Euros and Copa America and react to these crazy semi-final matchups. Till next time, guys. Peace.
Muchachos, ¿están para analizar un poquitito las semifinales de la Eurocopa y de la Copa América? Lo que se viene. No voy a hacer las predicciones, porque predicción ya hice antes de cada competición y no voy a seguir robando con eso. Pero sí quiero analizar las semifinales que se vienen y quiero también preguntarle a la gente del chat para ustedes cuáles son las candidatas a llegar a la final. Esto va a quedar guardado y cuando termine cada semifinal, porque son 4 partidos, vamos a ver si el chat le pegó a los 4 finalistas, ¿no? 2 de Eurocopa y 2 de Copa América. Copa América, upa. ¿Cómo va quedando el cuadro, vieja, Argentina contra Canadá y Uruguay contra Colombia. Quiero que me digan para ustedes cuál va a ser la final. Quiero leer al chat. Está complicado, Argentina, Canadá de un lado, Uruguay, Colombia del otro. Esto va a quedar guardado, quiero ver quién le pega. Muchos ponen Argentina, Colombia. O sea, se puede decir que hoy en día, según la opinión del chat, la final sería Argentina-Colombia, para ustedes. Yo creo que son 2 series igualadas, 2 series muy igualadas. Para mí Argentina hará lo suyo contra Canadá y Uruguay-Colombia es 50-50, considero yo. Podemos igual sobreanalizarlo y poder ir más al detalle. Por ejemplo, yo considero que Argentina contra Canadá es candidata. No considero que sea 50-50. Yo siento que Argentina, si hace bien las cosas, probablemente gane el partido en 90 minutos y clasifique a la final. Pero también es verdad que Argentina no jugó bien contra Ecuador, que terminó pasando porque lo salvó el Dibu. Y Canadá es un rival muy físico y muy rápido. Y puede complicar a Argentina. Sabemos que esto es fútbol, sabemos que puede pasar cualquier cosa, pero bueno, es un rival complicado Canadá y que si Argentina vuelve a fallar, seguramente puede quedarse afuera. Ahora bien, yendo al Uruguay-Colombia, para mí el plato fuerte de la jornada. Para mí, capaz, el mejor partido que se puede presentar en la Copa América. Por un tema de que Colombia hasta ahora es la mejor selección de esta Copa América y Uruguay, para mí, es una de las 3 mejores selecciones del continente junto a Argentina y Colombia. Y en la previa creo que daban todos por sentado que Uruguay iba a llegar a la final y ya lógicamente está en semis. Yo considero que Colombia a nivel futbolístico llega un poco mejor que Uruguay. Seguramente me van a decir un poco nomás, Davo. Colombia está arrasando en esta Copa América. Uruguay pasó por penales. Pero también me gusta analizar los contextos. No es por subestimar al rival, pero una cosa es jugar con Panamá y otra cosa es jugar con Brasil. Entiendo que Colombia ganó 5-0 y entiendo que Uruguay pasó por penales, pero Uruguay tuvo frente a una selección muy complicada y Colombia tuvo enfrente a una selección para mí accesible, que de todas maneras no le quiero sacar mérito, no es por desacreditarla. Colombia está en la semifinal no por jugar con un rival accesible, está en la semifinal por ser la mejor selección de esta Copa América hasta ahora. Yo lo digo y me hago cargo, hasta ahora son los mejores, pero es verdad que Uruguay llega también enfrentando a un rival mucho más complicado. Después, ¿en qué considero que Colombia puede sacar una gran ventaja frente a Uruguay, muchachos? En el estado físico de los jugadores. Futbolísticamente Colombia llega mejor, pero la diferencia no es mucha. Uruguay tiene muy buenos jugadores y si analizás el plantel que tiene cada uno es muy parejo, muy igualado. Físicamente siento que Colombia llega mucho más entero que Uruguay. Colombia llega después de ganar 5-0 en los cuartos de final. Sus mejores jugadores salieron al minuto 60 contra Panamá. Y Uruguay llega recontra sobreexigido físicamente por el partido con Brasil, que ya había llegado exigido físicamente al partido con Brasil, y habiendo jugado 90 minutos, que fue una guerra el partido de Uruguay-Brasil, y con muchas lesiones. Uruguay llega a la semifinal con Colombia mal físicamente, o sobreexigido físicamente, mejor dicho, y Colombia llega muy bien físicamente. Y futbolísticamente encima llega un poco mejor Colombia también, es la realidad. Entonces creo que en ese sentido, capaz muchos crean que Colombia es candidata, es favorita. Y no digo que Colombia no tenga chances de ser campeón o de ganarle a Uruguay, claro que los tiene. Pero yo considero que es una serie 50-50. Entiendo que para muchos sea candidata a Colombia, pero para mí va a ser un partido igualado. Y además en Sudamérica, partido 90 minutos, partidos trabados, no hay alargue. Es muy probable que vayan a penales. Fíjense que de 4 cruces, 3 terminaron en penales. Lo mismo pasó en la Copa América del 2019. Recuerdo que Argentina le gana a Venezuela, pero después Colombia empató con Chile y fue a penales. Brasil empató con Paraguay y fue a penales. Perú empató con Uruguay y fue a penales. Es normal ir a penales en la Copa América, más que nada teniendo en cuenta que en 90 minutos, que es muy trabado y muy intenso el partido acá, no hay alargue. Entonces, capaz puede haber penales en Uruguay-Colombia, quien te dice, como la Copa América del 2021. Capaz gana Colombia 90, capaz gana Uruguay 90. Siento que Colombia tiene una ventaja de lo físico y siento que es más ventaja de lo físico que de lo futbolístico, en mi opinión. Pero bueno, vamos a ver qué pasa. Para ustedes, chat, Uruguay-Colombia, porcentaje, ¿cómo es? ¿Coinciden conmigo que es 50-50 o consideran que Colombia, por lo mostrado hasta ahora, es más que Uruguay, previo a este partido? ¿O consideran directamente que Uruguay es más que Colombia? Capaz alguno me dice, para mí Uruguay es más. Quiero ver qué me dicen, sinceramente. A ver, 70-30, upa. 60-40, 50-50. 70 Colombia, 30 Uruguay. ¿Les parece tanto, chicos? A ver, yo veo jugar a la selección colombiana y siento que son muy candidatos, no les voy a mentir. Por cómo juegan, por cómo ganan, por el nivel que tiene cada futbolista. Tienen al mejor jugador de la Copa, que es James Rodríguez, que encima a Uruguay le suele hacer goles. Mirándolo de esa manera tienen un punto. Pero ¿no sienten que Uruguay es una selección re complicada y re dura para enfrentar en un mano a mano? ¿No sienten que a Uruguay no le ganás solamente jugando bien? Que tenés que hacer el partido ideal para ganarle. Sin ir más lejos, yo entiendo que esta selección colombiana es distinta a la selección con la que empezó las eliminatorias. Inclusive al partido que voy a hacer referencia lo jugó, me acuerdo, Fabra o Wilmar Barrios, que son jugadores que hoy en día no juegan. Pero Colombia y Uruguay se enfrentaron a las eliminatorias, jugaron en Colombia, iba ganando Colombia 2-1, erró un gol James Rodríguez, erró otro Luis Díaz, tuvieron otro palo más de John Arias, y lo terminó empatando Uruguay al último minuto. Y casi lo gana Uruguay en la última jugada. Colombia fue mejor que Uruguay, mereció ganarle 3-4-1 y terminó empatando 2-2 y casi lo pierde. Ya pasó eso hace unos meses. Entonces, yo no subestimaría a Uruguay, porque cuando fueron mejores que ellos no le ganaron. Me dirán, es otra selección, lo sé. Pero no creo que sea 70-30 Colombia, me parece una aberración, boludo. Para mí, la mala de Uruguay, la crítica entre comillas de Uruguay, es que llegan muy mal de lo físico. Si Uruguay llegara bien físicamente a este partido, yo creo que es recontra 50-50. Recontra 50-50. Ahora, viendo que Uruguay llega flojo físicamente, te puedo llegar a dar un 55-45 Colombia. Pero 70-30 me parece una barbaridad, barbaridad. Acá ponen, hermano, ¿eres de Uruguay o qué? No soy de Uruguay, boludo, pero siento que no hay que subestimar a la selección uruguaya, boludo. Uruguay tiene recursos futbolísticos de sobra para poder ganar la Colombia y Argentina. A las dos te digo, es más, a nosotros ya nos ganó. Pero para mí, entre Argentina, Uruguay y Colombia, probablemente salga el campeón. Creo que entre las tres, cualquiera puede ganarle a cualquiera, ¿me explico? Creo que es todo 50-50 entre esas tres. No considero que haya una mejor que las demás. Por ejemplo, para mí Colombia en esta Copa América está mejor que Uruguay y Argentina. Pero Argentina y Uruguay son selecciones que en un mano a mano son muy difíciles de vencer. No las daría por vencido, no daría por sentado que no son favoritas. Eso creo yo. Después, de 1 al 10, mi predicción, ¿cómo estuvo, muchachos? Yo dije Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Colombia. Le pegué a 3 de 4 semifinalistas antes de la Copa América. Creo que dentro de todo, bien, más o menos. O sea, yo dejé a Brasil segunda de grupo y la dejé afuera en cuartos con Uruguay. Ahora parece fácil. Pero en ese momento créanme que había muchos que iban a Brasil como finalista, o como primera de grupo. Así que más o menos bien. Y la final yo di Argentina-Uruguay. La realidad es que el nivel de Colombia está siendo muy alto, así que puedo errar tranquilamente. Y ya veo que Canadá elimina a Argentina y le erro a los dos finalistas y me muero, boludo. Ya veo que Argentina queda fuera en semis con Canadá. Sería durísimo. Esperemos que no, esperemos que no. Yo confío en Argentina, viejo. Confío en Argentina. Y vamos a ver la Eurocopa, ¿les parece? Primer semifinal, España contra Francia. ¿Quién es favorita? ¿Cómo son los porcentajes? Díganme en el chat para ustedes. Es un muy buen partido este, Creo que hay que separar lo que es nivel actual de la competición con lo que es la selección en sí. Para mí, Colombia está siendo la mejor selección de la Copa América y España está siendo la mejor selección de la Eurocopa. España en la fase de grupos arrasó 9 de 9. En octavos eliminó a Georgia. En cuartos eliminó a Alemania, como podemos observar acá. Y llega a la semifinal habiendo ganado 5 partidos consecutivos y siendo recontra candidata. Y Francia en una fase de grupos complicada, donde no mostró un buen nivel. En octavos le ganó a Bélgica 1-0 sin brillar mucho. Y en cuartos eliminó por penales a Portugal sin hacer goles. Y ahora la semi con España. Es un muy buen cruce es una buena serie. Yo creo que futbolísticamente España está en un muy buen nivel. Yo creo que España, por lo mostrado en esta Eurocopa y por lo que mostró Francia, es favorita. No veo acá un 50-50. Creo que es un 65 España, 35 Francia. Pero como digo esto, también digo que no considero que sea un partido fácil para España este. No sé qué piensan ustedes, pero no considero que sea un partido fácil para España este. Para mí España contra Francia puede quedar eliminada. Y para mí Francia es un rival muy molesto para España. Para el juego de España, Francia es un rival muy molesto. Porque yo considero que España, para ganarle a Francia en 90 minutos o en 120 minutos, tiene que ser superior a Francia futbolísticamente casi todo el desarrollo del partido. Y seguramente muchos me dirán que lo puede hacer tranquilamente, porque España justamente es una selección que suele tener la tenencia de la pelota y el dominio del partido. Es que seguramente lo haga. Pero para mí, si España tiene el dominio del partido frente a el 95% de la selección en la Eurocopa, termina ganándole 1, 2 o 3-0. En cambio, para mí España, con la pelota, dominando el partido y jugando a su juego y siendo superior a Francia, puede perder igual. Para mí Francia le puede ganar a España sin jugar mejor que España. Y no sé qué otra selección le puede ganar a España sin jugar mejor que España. Debe ser la única. Porque Francia no necesita jugar bien para ganar. Y eso puede hablar bien o mal de ellos. Pero capaz España juega mejor, tiene la pelota, llega más al área. 1-0 Francia, gol de Mbappé. 2-1 Francia, gol de Mbappé. Y gol de Colomwani. Puede pasar, como no puede pasar. Pero siento que Francia es un rival muy incómodo para la selección española. Muy incómodo. No creo que sea una serie fácil para España, por más que esté jugando mejor y por más que sea candidata. Que sea candidata no quiere decir que ya esté en la final. Porque muchos decían que España y Alemania era una final adelantada. Hay que jugar los partidos. Francia es Francia. Y España es España. Pero vamos a ver qué nos trae este partido. Vamos a ver qué nos trae este partido. Y después vamos a ver, muchachos, la otra semifinal. Países Bajos-Inglaterra. Países Bajos, que en fase de grupos tampoco brilló mucho. En octavos lo pasó por arriba a Rumania, ampliamente superior a los 90 minutos. En cuartos le ganó bien a Turquía, la remontó, aunque el arquero atajó una muy clara. Creo que podría haber empatado con Turquía, pero le terminó ganando. Y Países Bajos fue la única selección de los cuartos de final de Eurocopa en ganar su partido en 90 minutos, a tener en cuenta. E Inglaterra, que en fase de grupos no brilló, en octavos no brilló, en cuartos no brilló. Y está en semifinales un poco por suerte, un poco por individualidades, un poco por que el destino quería que esto sea así. Pero bueno, en octavo lo salvó Bellingham, en cuarto lo salvó Bukayo Saka. Vamos a ver qué pasa en semis. Creo que Inglaterra en esta Eurocopa no mostró su mejor nivel todavía. Países Bajos por momentos sí. Tiene jugadores interesantes. Cody Gakpo para mí está siendo uno de los mejores jugadores de esta Eurocopa hasta ahora. Xavi Simons está jugando muy bien. Memphis Depay tiene un rol muy importante en la selección holandesa. Y defensivamente Países Bajos es muy fuerte. Tiene muy buena defensa en cuanto a nombres y en cuanto a funcionamiento. Mientras que Inglaterra depende de sus individualidades. Si analizás uno por uno, seguramente Inglaterra sea la que mejores jugadores tiene. Si analizás colectivamente, seguramente sea la peor de las 4. ¿Qué va a pasar acá? No lo sé. Porcentajes, ¿cómo la ven, chat? Acá tengo mis dudas. Porcentaje, Países Bajos, Inglaterra. Yo la verdad es que acá veo un... Es que Países Bajos me parece una selección que tiene buenos jugadores, pero que no tiene jugadores de talla mundial. Inglaterra para mí tiene muchos jugadores de talla mundial, pero no logra jugar bien. La verdad que no sé muy bien qué puede pasar en Países Bajos e Inglaterra. No sé qué va a ser del partido tampoco, sinceramente. Acá dicen Van Dijk. Bueno, Van Dijk si querés sí, pero me refiero a que no tiene jugadores de talla mundial en ataque. Pero tiene muy buenos jugadores, como dije antes. Tiene buenos jugadores Holanda. Pero por ejemplo, en nombres únicamente, Cody Gakpo, Depay y Xavi Simons son más que Foden, Bellingham y Harry Kane. Amigo, literalmente Inglaterra tiene a 3 de los 5 mejores jugadores de la temporada. Literal. Foden, Bellingham y Harry Kane pueden quedar tranquilamente en el top 5 del Balón de Oro. O sea, estamos hablando, boludo, de jugadores de otro nivel. Por eso sorprende lo mal que juegan, literal. Pero así quedó la semi de la Eurocopa y la final puede ser muy picante, ¿eh? A ver, analicemos posibles finales. España-Países Bajos sería la revancha de la final del 2010. Increíble, increíble ese escenario. España contra Inglaterra sería el juego colectivo contra el juego individual. El buen fútbol contra el mal fútbol. El equipo contra el jugador. Sería un choque de estilos y dos equipos que juegan de una manera completamente distinta. Así que podría ser interesante el partido. Porque si los dos juegan de lo mismo es medio aburrido capaz. Francia-Países Bajos es una final interesante. Es una final interesante. Francia-Países Bajos. Y Francia-Inglaterra ni hablar. Francia-Inglaterra sería increíble también, creo yo. Porque Francia perdió la final de la Eurocopa del 2016, Inglaterra perdió la final de la Eurocopa del 2021. Se enfrentarían en la final las últimas dos subcampeones de Eurocopa por el título. Y aparte también, boludo, Mbappé de un lado, el madridismo dividido. Vamos a ver qué pasa. Vamos a ver qué pasa, muchachos. Digan en el chat cuál va a ser la final para ustedes. Juéguensela. Esto queda guardado. El que le pega, le pega. El que la pega, la pega. Final de Eurocopa 2024. ¿Cuál va a ser? Quiero ver cuál es la más repetida, por eso les pregunto. En América, la final más repetida por el chat fue Argentina-Colombia. En Europa, la final más repetida, ¿cuál es? Bueno, España, claramente. Y leo más Inglaterra que Países Bajos. Creo que la final más repetida es España contra Inglaterra, en el chat. O España-Holanda. Bueno, de ahí no sale. De ahí no sale. España-Inglaterra. España-Inglaterra. Vamos a ver qué pasa, muchachos. España-Inglaterra sería una final. Y la otra, Argentina-Colombia. Están picantes las dos copas. Y la última pregunta que les hago, muchachos. ¿Qué competición vieron más hasta ahora? ¿Copa América o Eurocopa? Es una pregunta media tramposa, porque no tengo la estadística a mano. Pero hubo mucho más partidos de Eurocopa que de Copa América. O sea, a ver, hubo más partidos en fase de grupos. Los 8 de octavos de final. ¿Cuántos partidos más hubo de Eurocopa que de Copa América hasta ahora? Si no me equivoco, creo que 20 partidos más. Por los dos grupos de más los 8 partidos de octavos de final. Entonces creo que todos vimos mal la Eurocopa. Pero bueno, les vuelvo a preguntar. Muchachos, ¿qué vieron más, la Eurocopa o la Copa América hasta ahora? Yo sinceramente la Eurocopa, no lo voy a mentir. Yo bastante mal la Eurocopa. La Copa América para mí se puso linda ahora igual, pero ya estamos en semifinales, quedan 3 partidos, amigo. En cambio la Eurocopa para mí desde el comienzo que está hermosa. Desde la fase de grupos. Es la realidad. Yo estoy viendo mal la Eurocopa, sinceramente. Pero bueno, vamos a ver qué pasa, muchachos, Y la última que les hago, para cerrar este debate y no los molesto más, perdón. Díganme hasta ahora el MVP de la Copa América. Hasta ahora. Y vamos a ver cuando termine la Copa América si termina siendo el mismo MVP. Para mí, el MVP de la Copa América hasta ahora es, sin ningún tipo de duda, James Rodríguez, no tengo dudas. Y la gente del chat, bueno, todos ponen James, sí. Para mí, sinceramente, me animo a decir que hasta ahora ni siquiera se puede debatir. Directamente no se puede debatir. La diferencia entre James y los demás está bien mal, hasta ahora. Y el MVP de la Eurocopa hasta ahora, esa sí es mucho más debatible. Esa es muy pareja, amigo. A ver, debe ser un jugador que está en semifinales, es la realidad. De Inglaterra no pongo a ninguno. De Países Bajos puede ser Cody Gakpo. De Francia no pongo a ninguno. Y de España puede ser Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, Rodri o Fabián Ruiz. Creo que no sale de ahí. De toda la Eurocopa, porque bueno, Cucurella, Carvajal y Dani Olmo están muy bien, pero para mí no sale de esos 4. ¿Con quién se quedan? Bueno, uno puso Granit Xhaka. Sabés que tenés razón, amigo. Granit Xhaka hizo alta Eurocopa, amigo. Mal. El tema es que la idea es decir el MVP que tenga chance de ganarlo. La realidad es que es muy difícil que un jugador que se quedó fuera en cuarto sea MVP de la Eurocopa. La idea de ser un MVP de una selección que siga con vida. Bueno, Kanté pone en el chat algunos. Bueno, de Francia dije ninguno, pero es verdad, N'Golo Kanté está muy bien. Kanté, se quedan con Kanté, muchachos. Bueno, yo hasta ahora, como dije, Copa América me quedo con James y Eurocopa, yo personalmente yo me quedo con Nico Williams. ¿Banca o no banca, che? Yo me quedo con Nico Williams. Su partido con Italia y su partido con Georgia me volvieron loco. Y es verdad que en cuartos con Alemania no marcó mucho la diferencia, pero lo sacaron, boludo. El entrenador no sé qué hizo, la verdad, Luis de la Fuente. Sacando a Nico Williams a llamar, boludo. ¿Qué crees que te diga? Yo hasta ahora me quedo con Nico. Me gusta mucho la Eurocopa de Nico Williams. Está encantando. Mal. Pero bueno, vamos a ver qué pasa, che. Vamos a ver qué pasa. Todo está por verse. Absolutamente todo está por verse, muchachos.
All right, welcome back to the kickoff. England are through to the semi-final of Euro 2024. Lads, we all seen the game yesterday. One thing I really want to start off with is the pundits were raving about the performance. At halftime, Gary Lineker, more of the same. I think it was Michael Richards talking about the courage and just overall massive amounts of positivity. And obviously previously up till now, we've all been, aside from joy, a little negative, a little disappointed. We want to see more of the real levels of these players. Was yesterday warranted with the praise from the pundits or not?
I'll start. I don't think we played great yesterday. What I would say is I do think progressively we've probably played better in each match. We needed a little bit more than we had seen in the group stages to be able to get past Slovakia. We did give a little bit more, yeah? Not much, not enough that we're going to be happy with it, but we gave a little bit more. And then we did the same against Switzerland. By the way, let's remember, Switzerland are a decent side, man. And despite the fact that, okay, we only actually managed to draw with them in the course of the game, I do think that, you know, they've proven in this tournament so far that they can beat good teams and that they can definitely play to the standard that is above maybe where we rank them as a nation. So I understand where the praise is coming in. And ultimately, when you do take a step back, and not saying you should do this in football, but you disregard the performance and say we are in a semi-final, I can very much see where the praise is coming from. But in terms of praising the performance as a whole, I'm not going to sit here and say it was a great performance.
Josh, what are you saying?
So it's interesting, mate. Let's go and see what the pundits actually said about this. So they said that we need to commend Southgate. I don't know anyone in the country that's commending Southgate right now based on that performance. Maybe Joey Knight is the only one. They said that he was bold in his subs. I feel like we might have been watching a different game. They said that we were brave, that Southgate was brave and that the players were brave. I do feel that I do live in a bit of opposite land at the moment, because the subs came after we went 1-0 down, and basically it was only for the good graces of an unbelievable Saka moment that we even came back into the game. It wasn't anything to do with the subs at all.
Yeah, the subs were reactionary. They weren't proactive. It was very much, oh shit, we're in trouble again. We got to react now. And he'd not taken the opportunity to change the game in the same way as the Switzerland manager had been proactive.
Yeah, yeah. And to say that, you know, he's brave, I think almost when you set up the team, that it was almost the opposite of brave. He's moved to a back five almost, you know, with these sort of hybrid setups. He's kept players that are underperforming in Foden. I think we've got to have a conversation about Kane now as well, which we have to go into more detail on. But individually, that, like, I don't think he's being brave at all. I think he's sort of playing the safe option. Now, as Joey has always said, you can absolutely go through tournaments and not be brave and still get through and still get to finals. And basically in tournaments, that's sometimes what you have to do. But with the quality that we have, I do just want our managers to be a bit more progressive, and I don't want him to always be reactionary. And so for me, just putting my hands up there, I was really confused about the way that pundits are saying. And do you think that maybe this sort of like briefing that Harry Kane has said about you can't keep getting on our backs, do you think that's actually affected the pundits and what they're saying here? Because I feel like it is.
I think the pundits understand what is probably going on here, and the probability, as much as people don't want to admit it, is what I've said from the start, is that England are probably going to be in the final of this tournament. And the pundits are starting to understand that England are probably going to be in the final of this tournament. And when you get to the final, and this is, mate, this is like not saying that I won't be critical of the team along the run, but I've understood this from the start. I have felt from the start that England were going to be in the final. I've said it on the kickoff, round the table, on the calls of you guys. I've said it all along, right? Because I said this from the start, I don't want to criticise the team the whole way, say the performance has been shit, and then us get to the final and win it and go, well, there you go. So ultimately, I think that the pundits are now starting to realise that the further we progress in this tournament, maybe it is going to be more helpful to back the team.
And not only helpful, but nobody wants to be the guy who sat there publicly criticising the whole way through, and then they win it, and then you look like you didn't have a clue what you're talking about. But honestly, both things can be true. We can have a ridiculously bad manager who is blessed with insanely talented footballers and isn't getting the best out of them, but still somehow manages to limp over the line in each game because of that individual brilliance from a Bellingham, from a Saka each time. We can play badly and still win this tournament. It doesn't mean that Southgate has got